The beginning of my speech was edited, cut out. I didn't know about it. And I want to read it. It was, thank you. History isn't history anymore. Truth is not truth. Even facts are being replaced by alternative facts and driven by conspiracy theories and ugliness. In Florida, young students are taught that slaves developed skills which could be applied for their personal benefit. The entertainment industry isn't immune to this festering disease. The Duke John Wayne famously said of Native Americans, "I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from them. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves." Lying has become just another tool in the charlatan's arsenal. The former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his years in office, and he's keeping up the pace in his current campaign of retribution. But with all his lies, he can't hide his soul. He attacks the weak, destroys the gifts of nature, and shows disrespect, for example, by using Pocahontas as a slur. Filmmakers, on the other hand, strive. This is where I came in and I saw that they edited all that. So I'm going to say these things, but to Apple and thank them and all that, Gotham, blah, 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 Apple, but who?
Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. And yeah, Robert De Niro. What's with the Godfather actors who go in? Marlon Brando took a stand too like that against what John Wayne said and what and racism in general. Famously, when he refused to accept his Oscar, and they continued to push for him to go accept his Oscar. He sent a Native American person to accept his Oscar, and he was condemning racism in all sorts. And now De Niro absolutely 100% despises Trump, but he despises him. And we're not trying to speak for him. He spoke well for himself, didn't he? He despises him because of what he stands for, because of what he did in those 4 years that might repeat themselves beginning in January 2025 if he wins the election next November. But boy, oh boy, we're going to talk about that. He really broke it down and talk about how, if you notice, he mentioned Apple and Gotham the way he mentioned them, and we'll get into that as well. Also this morning, Fani Willis, man, Fani Willis down in Georgia, she is going for the jugular. She said she's open to plea deals for 15 of the 18 people arrested, along with the 4 times indicted, twice impeached former President Donald Trump. But the other 3, and by now you probably know who those 3 are, she most definitely will not bargain with. She says we're going to get into that as well. Of course, big news yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, and we'll talk about this too. Power 96 refers to her as the Red Bone. I got to give Dawn a lot of credit, because Dawn Montgomery was the first to just absolutely stand up and say, hey, I'm not working for any company in which he's the head of. And so she quit. And a very high profile position too, really, at Revolt. But Diddy has stepped down, and we'll talk about that as well. And a judge has finally settled Aretha Franklin's will dispute with her family. We'll tell you how that was decided as well. All right, so something that I saw this morning, Greer saw it yesterday. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not in the Bayhive and all that stuff, whatever, Beehive, Bayhive, whatever you call it. But it's undeniable that she is the biggest star in the universe, and it's undeniable that she has not immersed herself in any controversy. She has not done things that have cast her in any type of bad light. And as her own mother says, she minds her business. And we could say that because a lot of celebrities are all over the place in other people's business and stuff, but Beyonce is not one of them. But there was a photo. Beyonce was promoting her Renaissance film, and folks went in on Beyonce, saying that she was either trying to look white or she bleached her skin and did all sorts. She didn't bleach her skin, first of all, like Michael Jackson. But But anyway, Beyonce, of course, did not respond. But Tina Knowles said, you know what? I know Beyonce is going to be mad, but I'm responding. And she went hard. This is her mom's response. She says, I came across this today and decided to post it after seeing all of the stupid, ignorant, self-hating, racist statements about her, lightening her skin and wearing platinum hair, wanting to be white. She does a film called The Renaissance, where the whole theme is silver with silver hair, a silver carpet, and suggested silver attire. And you bozos, this is Tina Knowles' words, you bozos decide that she's trying to be a white woman and is bleaching her skin. How sad is it that some of her own people continue the stupid narrative with hate and jealousy? Duh, she says. She wore silver hair to match her silver dress as a fashion statement, clown. Alien superstar? Duh, she says. What's really sad is that and this is the part that we really need to break down. This is what Tina Knowles said. What's really sad is that a white woman had the audacity to reach out to Neil, who is Beyonce's hairstylist. This white woman was from TMZ, and she said that the fans are saying that she wants to be white, and she wanted to get a statement about it from Neil. Tina goes on to say, well, that made my blood boil, that this white woman felt so entitled to discuss her blackness. as Dawn and Totally Randy would say, that part. Because you see it, right? You see, I mean, again, I'm not a Beyonce fan, but Tina Knowles knocked this out the park. Knocked it clearly out the park. She hit a grand slam with this statement. Because we see that all the time. Not only don't they want us to be ourselves, but they want to determine what we should be. And Tina was like, no, we're not having that. Remember Whitney Houston said, I got too much money for crack? Well, Tina's like, we got too much money for this nonsense. But here's, and continue her quote, because she goes in not just on the white woman and TMZ and white folks, it's on Black folks, which is needed to be said. She says, what's really most disappointing is that that some Black people, yes, you bozos, is what she said, that's on social media, lying and faking and acting like you're so ignorant that you don't understand that Black women have worn platinum hair since the Etta James days. Ooh, at last. She just went on. And she goes, I just went and looked at all the beautiful, talented Black celebrities who have worn platinum hair, and it has been just about every one of them at one time or another. Are they all trying to be white? I am sick and tired of people attacking her. Every time she does something that she works her butt off, she didn't say butt, and is a statement of her work ethic, talent, and resilience. Here you sad little haters come out of the woodwork. Jealousy and racism, sexism, double standards. You perpetuate those things instead of celebrating a sister or just ignoring if you don't like her. See, that's what I do. I ignore it. See, Tina talked to me too. She says, I am sick of you losers. I know that she is going to be pissed at me for doing this, but I am fed up. This girl minds her own business. She helps people whenever she can. She lifts up and promotes Black women and underdogs all the time. Hey, did Tina knock it out the park? Did Tina knock it out the park? That statement, Tina knocked it out the park. And here's the other part of it. And in no way I'm saying Beyonce is whitening her skin or whatever. But if she was, that's Beyonce's business. She got enough money to do whatever she wants. She got enough money to look like Lil' Kim if she wanted to. But the other part of it, if I'm Beyonce, if I'm sitting there breaking all these records, her concert, her Renaissance tour took in over $1 billion in gross receipts. And she is the celebrity of celebrities. There was a picture not long ago, a video of all these. They were at some event, all these celebrities lined up. They lined up. These are celebrities, many A-listers lined up in a line to meet Beyonce. She is what I knew Michael Jackson was back in the day. I used to, many of us, millions of us, hundreds of millions, used to marvel at the fact that I used to call him the star of stars. He was a celebrity to celebrities. Well, Beyonce has eclipsed Michael Jackson. She is the, as they say, the queen when it comes to celebrities. Celebrities go out their way. They lose their minds. Like fans lose their minds over them, they lose their minds over Beyonce. And if I'm her, and I could see why Tina says Beyonce would be upset with her for even responding. Because it's like, you little peasant. That's me. Come on. That's supposed to bother Beyonce? Whoever and those who went in on her like that, guarantee you 100% if they were to ever meet her, run into her somehow, it wouldn't be no hate. Oh, I love you, Beyonce. Oh, Beyonce, you're the greatest. Those who posted that, and Beyonce knows that, so she also knows, look, mama, it's no reason to even respond. So anyway, I just thought that's how we start our morning this morning with Miss Tina Knowles standing up and saying, look, you come for my daughter, I'm coming for you. And that's just the bottom line. And Southbound 3000 is 100% right. We can be our own worst enemy sometimes, is what my grandmother used to say. Your grandmother was 100% right, because my grandmother would say the same thing. Don't get my grandmother started. My grandmother was famous for her left hook. I mean, she could probably knock anybody except Muhammad Ali out. My grandmother did not play. So anyway, to the news this morning. Fulton County prosecutors do not intend to offer plea deals to Donald Trump and at least 2 high-level co-defendants charged in connection with their efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. She says the individuals who are not going to get these deals is Trump himself, Rudy Giuliani, and former White House chief of staff and number one temptation, Mark Meadows, because you know Mark Meadows been singing like a temptation. They've been keeping Mark under wraps in the federal aspect of Trump's indictments. He got so many indictments, we lose track, right? And this is the people y'all voting for president. He got 91 felony counts against him. Civil jury said he raped a woman. And all this happened this year. The findings anyway, on the rape thing, all of this happened this year. And quiet was as kept. We were talking about Diddy and everybody else who the Adult Survivors Act. Remember, we did say this, that folks filed notices of intent and before the deadline, which means that it gave them more time to file the actual lawsuit. Well, Trump was hit again, and you don't hear nothing about it. He was hit again. So was Mike Tyson. But there's Trump, leading candidate in the Republican side for president. But Fani Willis says, you know what? You ain't getting a plea deal. So you could do whatever you ever, say whatever, threaten, make racist comments, make sexist comments. You're not getting a deal. We are going all the way with this, is what Fani Willis is her message to Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani. Now you know Rudy's going to jail. If Trump don't go to jail, Rudy's going to jail. Rudy just looks like he belongs locked up somewhere. He looks like he's going to, just on that look alone, Rudy's going to jail. Austin says Mark Meadows is moonwalking better than Michael ever did, even to classical music. And Power 96 says Fani Willis told Donald Trump co-defendant Harrison Floyd to shut his mouth in court. She is going to ask for the max sentence. And David says that Rudy and Mark will testify against Trump. But she says you could do all that. David, she's saying y'all not getting deals. She says she'll deal with, and you know, obviously many already, 6 folks have taken deals, all of them except one being lawyers. Man, as Greer would say, or at least she'd play that clip, Molly girl, you in trouble. Because when the lawyers start copping pleas, that's amazing. I guess David, maybe you can help us. David's into law. David's a law guy. But I would like to know of another case that involved lawyers and where the lawyers started taking pleas. All the lawyers are pleading. Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, Kenneth Chesbrough. They took deals, plea deals. They were co-conspirators who took plea deals. Yeah, he in trouble, right? And so that's why he continues to try and push this thing further and further out into 2025, where if he's president, he doesn't have to worry about it. And David says only Giuliani and Mark have spoken directly and often to Trump. And perhaps that's why Fani Willis is saying no deal for them. And maybe she's playing hardball to get more out of them. Maybe she's in a way bluffing to see what else they might sing about. But time will tell. Time will tell. And I tell you what else time will tell as to whether or not the career of Sean Diddy Combs, Puffy, Puff Daddy, is over. In the wake of the 3 lawsuits, particularly the Cassie Ventura lawsuit, Diddy has temporarily, and you could take that temporarily thing out of there, but right now his statement is that temporarily stepped aside as chairman of Revolt, which of course the music-oriented station network he founded in 2013. His reps confirmed the news, and we know about why he decided to step down. But a big assist in that goes unquestionably to Dawn Montgomery, our Dawn. Dawn, when the allegations hit with Cassie, Dawn, among other things, she was a podcaster on Revolt, and very successful. People love Dawn. Dawn get on social media and say, look, this is the deal. This is what I need today. And within moments, she gets it. But Dawn, she just went in and said, look, nobody at Revolt is condemning this, and Diddy is still the chair. I'm out. I can't work for someone like that. And she made it clear, not that Diddy has ever done anything inappropriate with her or anything like that. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that at all. And so her thing was, she's not going to work for an individual who did what he is alleged to have done to Cassie and now 2 other women, at least 2 other women. And so he's out. And if anyone caught yesterday afternoon's show we did at 5 o'clock with the journalist Katia Woods and the attorney Delorney, Diddy, it was brought out that he also lost some deals with Macy's and Diageo and some school in New York. I don't know the whole story with the school that he was involved in has dropped him. That's something he's got to get used to. He's going to have to get used to, because nobody's going to touch him. No one's going to team up with Diddy anymore. There's no more Team Diddy anymore. Team Diddy is just Diddy and his family. No more sponsorships or anything like that. He's done. And now you have all of these people come out, and then you have the allegations, and that's right, David. In Dawn's case, principle over cash. But all these people, it's too many people involved in the Diddy situation, and so one of the things that he has to be in fear of is that with all of these look back laws, it's not just on the civil side. See, in California, for instance, he can still be investigated criminally. And folks want to get paid. And there's so many elements to Cassie's lawsuit. And so many people involved, those sex workers. So the thing is, generally, when you say sex workers, that means that they are like anybody else. They're trying to make money. This they might see as a golden ticket, regardless of an NDA. You can't enforce an NDA if criminal matters is involved. So there you have it. Diddy, you in trouble, my dude. And Power 96 says the red bone stood on her principles. I stand on mine daily. I refuse to entertain so-called Black conservatives. He says, I blocked them off every social media website that I am on. Boy. And Southbound 3000 asks, are our HBCUs going to pull back on his future donation? That's the big question. So that is a great question. So we know that Bill Cosby, of course, was hit with all of these allegations and even went to prison for 3 years before his conviction was overturned. We know that he had given in excess of $200 million to institutions of higher education, including HBCUs. And one of the things I remember Andrew Wyatt, his spokesperson, said, and I couldn't blame him, said when they started stripping Cosby of all these honorary degrees, Andrew said, are they going to give the money back? Nobody sent the check back. So I know HBCUs is tough. That's a tough call for them because they are so underfunded. But maybe you got to take a cue from Dawn Montgomery, right? Stand on your principles and not on the cash. And Diddy did just a couple months ago gave Howard $1 million. So, oh boy, what a mess. What a mess. Folks, we talked if you missed yesterday afternoon at 5 o'clock show, go check it out because there was a lot of information about that and about the culture and things like this that we're talking about. But a lot of, we had, like I said, really, really a nice conversation, young Black woman lawyer and a young Black woman journalist talking about this information, about the culture, not just about Diddy, but we also delved into Axl Rose and his situation there, Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, Jamie Foxx, L.A. Reid, but the culture that permitted the behaviors, the alleged behaviors anyway. So you might want to check that out. Think it'd be worth your while. So Aretha Franklin, if you remember, she died a few years ago, 2018, at the age of 76, pancreatic cancer. Well, a judge who's overseeing the estate of the Queen of Soul awarded real estate to her sons, citing a handwritten will from 2014 that was found between couch cushions, which is it continues to confound and amaze that she wrote this hand wrote this will and stuck it between her couch. That's such a grandma thing to do. It's such a Black grandma thing to do. But the decision by the judge came 4 months after a Detroit area jury said that the document was a valid will under Michigan law, despite scribbles and many hard-to-read passages. Aretha Franklin had signed it and put a smiley face in the letter A. The papers will override a handwritten will from 2010, another handwritten will that was found at Aretha's home in Detroit around the same time in 2019. One of her sons, Keekaf, will get that particular property in Detroit, which was valued at about $1.1 million in 2018 when she died, but of course is now worth more. A lawyer described it as the, quote, crown jewel before they went to trial last July. Another son, Ted White II, who had favored the earlier will, was given a house in Detroit as well, though it was already sold by the estate of Aretha Franklin for $300,000. And his lawyer, Charles McKelvey, said that Teddy is requesting to sell proceeds, and obviously he's entitled to them. Judge Jennifer Callahan awarded a third son, Edward Franklin, another property under the 2014 will. So she had 4 homes in total. And it's the discovery of the wills, of course, it was 2 of them. And it's just amazing that she wrote out these wills. instead of having it officially or formally done. But she's not alone, right? We've seen when Michael Jackson died, there was dueling wills. At least according to his family, there was the will that they actually went on was not authentic. When Prince died, he didn't leave any will or direction for his vast estate. Every financial advisor, and I'm sure Aretha and Michael and Prince and all others, Whitney, had access at least to the best of financial advisors. But every financial advisor would say, you need a will. And just wonder why these folks decided not to have a will. Now, in Aretha's case, it was handwritten, and she just felt, maybe she felt, well, I'm not going to pay a lawyer to do this. And although it caused, 5 years of legal battles, and they still have to decide on a couple of other things in January, it tended to finally have worked out. Everybody, I mean, all her kids got property. But I guess the big question is, and perhaps that'll be resolved in January, is who gets her catalog. It's all about the catalog. All about the catalog. And I see the dueling donors, Southbound 3000 and Power 96 are talking about their donations to HBCUs. Pretty good. Pretty good. So that's the Aretha Franklin story this morning. Her sons, hopefully this will help to kind of dull their pain a little bit. But that has been resolved, at least the property aspect of it. And everybody got something. So really, not that we have any stake in it, but really glad to see that everybody got something. And now back to the Godfather, Mr. DeNiro, Robert DeNiro, or as folks in New York and Tribeca call him, Bob. I mean, he was super, super ticked off during the Gotham Awards, and we saw at the top what he said, and the fact that they tried to they basically tried to muzzle his speech. Really, it's a testament to, and people said, well, I guess he won't be invited back to the Gotham Awards. And Apple was probably upset, and he alluded to that at the end of his speech. But the fact is, why try and censor him? He made some pretty resounding points, and he read the speech regardless. They tried to edit it, and he went on. It was what was going on there, just for context. He was introducing the Gotham historical icon and creator tribute for Killers of the Flower Moon. And so he just started by saying, I just have to say one thing. And he's at the beginning of his speech, it was interrupted, it was cut. And he didn't know about it, and he wasn't happy about it. He said, I want to read it. He lectured the audience about history and truth being replaced by alternative facts, as you heard. And that John Wayne thing. Every time when I hear John Wayne, I think of two things. Public Enemy's Fight the Power. And so I saw this documentary, and it mentioned his alleged affair with Humphrey Bogart. And that's what I think about when I think of John Wayne. I just remember as a teenager, and I remember Sheik is Mahmoud Bey. He's an actor and an old friend of mine's. And I remember mentioning John Wayne to him about something. just remember him going and tearing into John Wayne. How could you even mention that name? Blah, 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 that racist, blah, 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 blah. And every time I seen the documentary and Robert De Niro told no lie. He was an unapologetic racist. But De Niro went in and he got his points across. Yeah, tearing into John Wayne. Oh gosh, maybe that wasn't the right phrase, right? Given his alleged affair with Humphrey Bogart. But anyway, see, oh gosh. But anyway, he, De Niro took after Trump, and he actually, now some fact checking will allow us to understand that when he says that the former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his 4 years in office, when you fact check that, because you think it's just hyperbole. Well, he apparently at least 10,000 of those came at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. So I think De Niro kept count and an accurate count. Oh boy. And he mentioned a campaign of retribution. And here's the thing. So sometimes when someone, you might look at it as a tirade or going off or whatever, but he said campaign of retribution. Well, guess what Donald Trump has been saying? Campaign of retribution. He hasn't used that exact term, but he has said that he was going to do this to his political enemies and that to his political enemies, and he was going to shoot people and have people shot in the street and maybe even hang somebody. So it's a campaign of retribution. And one of the things that De Niro said, and who can argue with all his lies, he says he can't hide his soul. What a speech. David Youngblood said it was a great speech. Fantastic speech is what David said. But it's interesting, again, to me, that you have someone like De Niro, who essentially in his activism has followed in the footsteps of another Godfather actor who felt the same about conditions affecting underserved communities and people of color. Marlon Brando felt that way and expressed those. Marlon Brando was a trip, but one of the things, so they portrayed these Italian mobsters and in their careers at one point or another, a couple of points or another. And generally, you don't think of the characters, and that's what they are. They're characters, right? So you don't think of them as someone who would be at the top of the list of "We Shall Overcome." But Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando both have in their lifetimes, of course, the late Marlon Brando, right? But they have in their lifetimes condemned and on no uncertain terms racism and folks who push hate in any form. So kudos to those. I wonder how Francis Ford Coppola, what's his views, right? I mean, he's the one that was ahead of all that stuff. But there's Brando's quote: "I don't think people generally realize what the motion picture industry has done to the American Indian. As a matter of fact, all ethnic groups, all minorities, all non-whites, people just simply don't realize." That was a quote from Marlon Brando. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, it's hump day, folks. Couple of days before game day Friday, right? Power 96. He gets geared up on Fridays with his HBCU gear, ready for game day, game night, and game day Saturday. And then, of course, the NFL on Sunday. What a weekend. What a weekend. Every weekend is the same, right? Some excitement here and there. But thanks for tuning in on this hump day, Wednesday, to get you to Thursday and then Friday. And can't wait for the weekend, right? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.